perfectly in an instant. An unauthorized transmission entirely bypasses the blockade. The Sovereign totally attempts entirely to call the Loyalist fleets. Deploy exactly the Seeker swarms, completely, totally, entirely, to the sending the signal was exactly a beacon. The quarantine sector is supposed to be completely dead, just miles of forgotten scrap. But tonight, my proximity sensors triggered an anomaly, a controlled descent from orbit. I tracked the impact zone, expecting twisted metal. Instead, I found a fully intact drop vessel. Cautious. Earth Defense Protocol dictates immediate reporting of all unregistered off-world technology. Urgent. But my equipment picked up a failing energy signature. The occupant was running out of time. The locking mechanisms disengaged automatically. The primary power core was completely dead. Inside the wreckage, I saw an anomaly, an entity completely foreign to this system. No weapons, no military insignia, only royal crests. Weak, pleading. Atmosphere, failing. Power, depleted. The environmental shielding was completely depleted. I offered my emergency reserve cell. Hesitant but grateful. A dangerous gift from a stranger. The instant the power connected, the fatigue vanished. True power returned to the armor. Majestic, commanding. I am the sovereign of the Lumina Vale. You have preserved the royal line. I thought I was saving a castaway. I didn't realize the magnitude of the rescue. Urgent. The quantum tether has been breached. They followed the drop trajectory. Earth's atmospheric alarms remained completely silent. Our technology couldn't comprehend what was arriving. The Vanguard fleet. They intend to burn this sector to ash to ensure I do not return. The local sun wasn't setting. An entire armada was blocking out the sky. Secure the Sovereign. Eliminate the local organism. Determined. I saved a stranded traveler, and in doing so, I surrendered my planet. Furious. There is no sanctuary on this primitive rock. Surrender the Sovereign. The royal bloodline belongs to the Lumina Vale. You are a usurper, Vexer. Commander Vexer didn't care about diplomacy. The objective was total erasure of all witnesses. Urgent. I couldn't fight an interstellar warlord, but I knew exactly how to disappear into the fog. Urgent. I couldn't fight an interstellar warlord, but I knew exactly how to disappear into the fog. Deploy the Seeker swarms. Do not let the Earth Dweller escape. anxious. Commander Vexer dropped autonomous search units, machines strictly designed to track biological heat signatures. Whispering, urgent. The Seekers possess thermal tracking. We cannot evade the search in the open. I didn't plan on staying in the open. My extraction rig was built exclusively for total sensory blackout. Focused. I initiated the thermal baffling systems immediately. We needed to become completely invisible. Activating stealth plating. Audio dampeners to maximum. Hold perfectly still. Activating stealth plating. Audio dampeners to maximum. Hold perfectly still. Surprised. Primitive optics, but highly effective. The thermal bloom is completely nullified. Relieved exhale. The Vanguard drone passed right over the cabin. We bought ourselves exactly 5 minutes to think. The ground search has failed. Elevate the ship to planetary scan protocol. Scorch the grid. Quiet, inquiring. The area is clear for now. Tell me exactly why an invasion fleet is tearing apart Earth for one person. Commander Vexer was the supreme commander. When the king perished, Commander Vexer seized the central throne. The loyalists were purged. I am the final sovereign heir. If the heir is extinguished, the usurpation becomes absolute. So this isn't just a manhunt. This is a galactic coup, and Earth is completely stuck in the crossfire. Fleet Command. Lock targeting arrays on the planetary crust. Leave no cavern unsearched. Grim. The Vanguard fleet was not going to leave politely. If the planet was to survive, hiding was no longer an option. Earth possesses an abandoned pre-collapse military installation. A deep comms bunker buried beneath the western ridge. A planetary transmission array. If the Loyalist Armada receives an encrypted distress resonance, the Royal Guard will warp to these exact coordinates. Then we bypass the orbital blockade entirely, engaging maximum terrain-hugging thrusters. Flying cloaked uses massive energy.
Engaging thrusters.
The stealth generators were threatening to overload the entire chassis. Urgent. Commander Vexer is scorching the grid. The orbital sensors are multiplying. A proximity scan missed the hull by 20 meters. If the thermal baffles failed, the Armada would vaporize the canyon. Calm, observant. We reached the installation, sealed and untouched since the planetary collapse. Calm, observant. We reached the installation, sealed and untouched since the planetary collapse. Bored.
Look at the size of that.
The architecture is primitive, heavily decayed, but the subterranean shielding will effectively block the orbital sensors. Confident. I bypassed the security grid using scavenger codes. The old hydraulic locks still possessed partial power. A tomb of concrete and copper. Your ancestors constructed heavily fortified structures to speak to the stars. The main geothermal tap was still functioning. The primary transmission console successfully drew power from the planetary crust. I aligned the subterranean dishes to face deep space. But human radio waves are entirely too slow to reach the Royal Guard. The Royal Signet possesses quantum resonance. If perfectly integrated, the terrestrial machinery will completely amplify the Royal Distress Chord. The alien tech completely rewrote the base code exactly in seconds. The exterior array is completely aligned. The tether is securely established. The signal fired successfully. A quantum burst, entirely spanning exactly across the galaxy, perfectly, in an instant. An unauthorized transmission entirely bypasses the blockade. The Sovereign totally attempts entirely to call the Loyalist fleets. Deploy exactly the Seeker swarms, completely, totally, entirely, to the sending the signal was exactly a beacon. Now we had to completely survive long enough strictly for help to entirely arrive. Tense. The Vanguard Seekers breached the exterior locks instantly. We ran out of safe space.
Keep pushing.
I dropped the inner titanium bulkheads.
Almost there.
But metal only delays the inevitable.
Lock it down.
The door is compromised.
The Vanguard drones possess plasma torches. The barrier will fall within seconds. I will hold the corridor, protect the transmission console. We couldn't fight an entire armada, but I could safely drain the swarm's power. The numbers are too vast. The shielding will fail. Relieved. The pulse fried the localized guidance systems. The immediate threat shut down. A primitive disruption technique, yet highly effective against the Vanguard swarm.
Keep moving, Xylia.
The main console was compromised.
Just
I
ahead,
engaged the
Elias.
emergency industrial lift.
We made it. Get inside.
The cables are straining.
We are descending
Hurry, Elias.
miles beneath the planetary
They're gonna give out.
crust.
Bracing for impact.
The sensory dampening is absolute. The infantry reached the edge, but the cables were too old to support heavily armored units. Shocked, Commander Vexer abandoned the bunker completely. The Armada decided to collapse the entire mountain on top of the elevator. The emergency brakes failed entirely. We plummeted until the shaft terminated in a deep subterranean aquifer. Safe
Almost there.
for the moment. But the shaft above is buried under 1 million tons of bedrock. The planetary maps never documented this depth. An entire untouched world exists beneath the crust. These are not natural formations. The geometry matches the precursor architectures of the Lumina Veil. Earth wasn't just a random rock. The alien royalty visited thousands of years before humanity looked at the stars. The royal signet awakened the vault. The ancestors left a sanctuary perfectly preserved. It was a dreadnought, a ship older than human civilization, completely untouched by time. The Astral Aegis, the flagship of the first sovereign. It requires a royal pilot to fly.
Almost there.
There were no buttons, no manual controls. The entire vessel was operated purely through quantum consciousness. Consciousness completely synchronized. The core recognizes the bloodline. Main thrusters are charging, a colossal energy spike, perfectly beneath the terrestrial crust. The Sovereign discovered a first-era dreadnought. Commander Vexer completely panicked. The Vanguard fleet began entirely incinerating the mountain, perfectly, entirely, exactly, from orbit. The structural integrity is failing entirely. Upward acceleration requires immediate execution. Millions of tons of bedrock were falling directly onto the hull. We had to punch completely through the ceiling. Main drives entirely active. Structural integrity fields holding. Ascending.
It's too late.
He shields perfectly deflected pure solid stone. The dreadnought cut entirely through the mountain, like complete strictly, purely, totally, exactly. The upper, precisely, completely, entirely, perfectly, entirely, purely, perfectly, entirely, purely, purely. He sky, perfectly, entirely, purely, turned, exactly, exactly. Aegis perfectly, exactly, purely, entirely, exactly, purely, perfectly, Entirely, exactly, purely, perfectly. Entirely, purely, perfectly, strictly, exactly, purely, precisely. He plasma, strictly, exactly, entirely, purely, exactly. Engage precisely, perfectly, exactly. The perfectly, purely, entirely. The dreadnought possessed unimaginable power, but the Vanguard fleet anchored the hull perfectly to the gravity well of the planet. The Aegis does not yield to usurpers. Route all core reserves to the main thrusters.
No more.
The ancient
This
engines
ends
roared.
now.
The gravitational tether snapped like a fragile thread. Orbit achieved. The terrestrial blockade is officially bypassed. The subterranean transmission worked. The true Royal Guard crossed the galaxy in a matter of minutes. The High Fleet answers the sovereign call. The reign of the usurper ends today. Reflective. Commander Vexer realized the war was lost before a single shot was fired. The Vanguard scattered into the Dar. The crown is secure. The planet Earth is safe. The galaxy owes a massive debt to a human scavenger. The crown is secure. The planet Earth is safe.
Done.
The galaxy owes a massive
Finally.
debt to a human scavenger.
It is done. Finally. You are clear to go
You have
home,
bled for a
Princess.
world that is not yours, Elias. I ask you now to stand with me on mine.
Commander.
I didn't have much tying me to the scrapyards of Earth anymore. The stars were calling. Helm, plot a direct course for the capital. Lumina Prime awaits our return. I'd spent my whole life digging through rusted junk. I wasn't prepared for the sheer beauty of her world. For 100 cycles, I believed I would never see the golden waters of Ethelgard again. Chuckles softly. I definitely felt underdressed for the occasion,
Unbelievable.
but they didn't
This
care.
can't be real.
The time has come.
The usurper's shadow
The
breaks today.
princess has returned.
Lumina Prime belongs to the light.
Long live the princess.
Filtered through transmission, mocking. You return to a graveyard, princess. The capital is already mine.
Flank is clear.
They rely
Strike
too
here.
much on brute force. We take out their shielding generators here.
Yes.
The heavy mechs go blind.
The Vanguard ground
Ruthless.
forces have arrived.
Leave nothing standing.
Secure the
Burn the
objective.
crystal. Erase her legacy from the surface.
Come on, you old bucket of
Ruthless.
bolts. Give me something.
Leave nothing standing. Burn
Got
the
it.
crystal.
Overriding gauge.
Erase her legacy from the surface.
The Vanguard ground
Sending the
forces have
signal was
arrived.
exactly a beacon.
Secure the
Now we had to
objective.
completely survive long enough strictly for help to entirely arrive. If I cannot rule this world, then no one will. Initiate glassing protocol. If I cannot rule this world, then no one will. Initiate glassing protocol. Voice. Ethereal. Melodic. Slightly echoing. Regal adult female. Heart of Lumina. Hear your voice. Deep, raspy, reflective American male. Calm, but carrying the weight of survival. I'd never seen a planet fight back before. Leave nothing standing. Burn the crystal. Erase her legacy from the surface. My people fight with the strength of 100 generations,
Engage the mechs.
but they need an opening.
Fire at will.
Focused.
Got it.
Alien tech. Human tech. It all shorts out the same way if you know which wire to
Stand
pull.
back.
Calm, but carrying the weight of survival. Told you. Just needed a little percussive maintenance.
I will annihilate.
If I cannot rule this world, then no one will.
Last one.
Initiate glassing protocol. The sky turned to fire. It was the same weapon that cracked my moon. We were out of time. Calm, but carrying the weight of survival. Terrified. Slightly echoing, regal adult female. The ancient hull will not hold forever. I must
my
wake the
people,
core, heart of Lumina.
core shall be
Hear your
restored.
sovereign. Rise
Not
and
without
protect your children.
sacrifice, princess.
Calm but carrying the weight of survival. I'd never seen a planet fight back before. The sky literally ripped the fleet apart, metallic distortion, intimidating and cold. Defeated, coughing, whispering. The lineage survives, calm,
We did.
but carrying the weight of survival. The scrapyards are a long way from here.
Together we remember.
Think I might stay a while.
The light sky.
We rebuild. We remember those who fell in the ashes. But we no longer look to the stars with fear. Turns out, repairing a hyperdrive isn't all that different from fixing a busted tractor back home. Just a bit more explosive. The outer warning chimes.
Shielding failing.
This energy signature does not belong to the Vanguard. You said the Vanguard was the greatest threat to this galaxy.
Just a little further.
So what exactly did your ancestors lock away down here?
By the stars.
Vexa was never the true warlord, Elias.
We shouldn't be.
He was only running from them.
It's real.